Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the House Coat Chat Justice Truth here today on January 1st, 2026. Happy New Year, and may your new year be a blessing, and may you prosper, and may you grow to be a better person. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for all your viewing over this short while that I've been doing this as a hobby, not making any money. YouTube is not doing me like views, so to speak. X is doing okay for all this stuff. I'm enjoying it. I don't mind talking because it gets out what bugs me to the world, and I'm happy to discuss it. Yes, folks, it is January 1st, 2026. Heck of a hockey game last night. I quite enjoyed it. And I would like to say, first off, is that I am very grateful to be here on this planet. Lucky to be in the position that I am, despite my health and a few other things and all that. I'd like to shout out to my family. Love you all, and hope you're all doing well. Despite I'm hearing some people are sick. My dad ended up being in the hospital. Not to go into too much details, but he is older. He fell down and all that stuff, and he is doing much better. Unfortunately, his girlfriend, wife, is Marjorie, has fallen ill. So my dad's coming home from the hospital. Can't hang out with the woman he loves, basically, because she's sick. So he had to get a friend to help him. I'm too far away. My bro just left Calgary because my dad was doing better and all that. And I will say this, for all the rash of sickness that I've been hearing about online, especially on X, a lot of people are complaining about the flu shot not being very effective. And being an older gentleman who loves the news, I have recalled over the last several years, so to speak, of my life on and off, the flu shot just doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do because they predicted what the flu variant may be the upcoming season. Long story short there. But everybody that's out there that is sick at the moment, positive vibe, take your vitamin C, take your medicines and all that, and rest and recuperate. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, it is unfortunate that people get sick and everything else, but you know what? Because of technology, I am in constant communication with my family, obviously the phone, right? But since I don't travel a whole lot, like distances and stuff like that, I do like FaceTime. With the camera, you get to see who you are. Because when I was sick first and I didn't want to travel because it bothered me to drive, still does, long distances bothers me a lot. But, anyways, before I used FaceTime, I used to talk with my mom, my dad, and kind of get frustrated because you can't see the other person really well. So you don't know how they're coming across to you other than on the phone, right? I'm hearing impaired, so I guess my hearing may not pick up the emotional tones in a voice. But irregardless, all I could say is I'm very grateful for FaceTime because my bro told me over the phone after the last couple of days, because the incident with my dad, is how many visits do you have left with your parents? And it's a very good quality statement, so to speak. And I know I'm not, talking the way I kind of talk, but I will get there, folks, because I wanted to do a show today, and I am pushing myself to do a show today because I like procrastination and I'm a slow starter. Second mouse gets the cheese, folks. Early bird may get the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese, and that's the kind of motto I've lived my life with. Anyways, yes, how many visits do you have left with your parents? Hence why I said I discussed things on my FaceTime. I already kind of made peace with myself on a couple of issues, which I won't really bring up here because of all that, but it don't matter. All I'm saying is if you got family, tell them you love them and everything else like that, because you never know what can happen. Things can change in a heartbeat. And I am grateful for the health of my father, being as strong as he is, considering he exercises a lot. Yes, he's getting older, but just like so many other people, everybody gets older. And as long as you stay active, you may extend your life, and you also have better health because you're exercising. Anyways, to talk about things like that, older people, I mean, Dick Van Dyke's over 100. He still exercises with one of those rolling sit up machines, and he moves his hips way better than I do for a guy that's 100. Even Mel Brooks, who is turning 99. By the time Spaceball 2 comes out, he'll be playing yogurt again after all these years. And I'm kind of hopeful to see that. I hope they do it well, Spaceballs 2. Yes, folks, I do have a bit of a list here, and I want to make sure that I am discussing all the stuff that I want to kind of discuss in my show, my rant, whatever you want to call it, the dude in the house coat. I am encouraging you all to read and research. I'm not going to display anything up here. You know, I said I was going to do stuff for missing children. I still kind of want to plan on doing that. And although I don't have a picture up today or anything like that, but I will say there was a missing woman in Ottawa the other day, and a lot of political people that were, I guess, conservative put her name and face out there with a nice photo of her. Unfortunately, they found her deceased. That's all I know. I think she may have suffered a medical incident. Young person, too, folks. Yes, I know Carolina Kennedy was daughter or granddaughter of, John F. I think she's a Kennedy in the political family down south in America. She was young. She passed away at a very young age. All these heart incidents are a great concern to me. I won't really dive into the saucy stuff and, vaccines and all that, other than to say that what I read back at the start of COVID till now, I am so grateful for that nuclear heart surgeon out of Boston that I heard about the heart valve and the vaccine. And I'm so grateful I took it to heart. My gut instinct and everything else. I have one heart. I have a good immune system, so I will survive COVID, and I did. I got the Omicron variant. It didn't last long. It wasn't a great sickness and everything else. And so yes, I just got a happy little thing here on my, whatchamacallit, the dialogue box, whatever, the chat thing, and my wife is speaking up on there saying, great job, thank you, honey. Yes, thank you. Anyways, folks, yes, all this stuff going on, and since we're talking about a little bit about medical stuff here, I just want to say that I read this morning, and it disturbed me in this great country of Canada. We have universal, so-called free health care. But why does a woman in Saskatchewan have to be flown and be donated a bunch of money to help her get a surgery that can save her life in Canada, but the Canadian government has offered her MAID? Now, I don't remember her name at the moment. It don't matter, but Glenn Beck has helped her, and I've mentioned it before on the show. I am hoping positive vibes to the lady that she has already had her surgery, and it's all done. I hope things are good there. In fact, after I've done my little podcast, I might even try and see if I can find the rest of the story, just like how Paul Harvey used to say, and the rest of the story. Yes. And I know the medical thing is all that bad, but Kayla Pollock is another individual who I read this morning is going to Japan for amyloid therapy. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but this woman was injured by the Saucy. She is paralyzed, got Bell's palsy. She is in worse shape than me by far. I'm not injured by the vaccine, but the fact that she took the shot and she suffered from it, and they're not trying to compensate her. Our government is willing to give her MAID, but are not willing to do anything else. But yes, the newcomers come in, they are getting galore, folks, galore. I mean, it is so sad that in this country, and I know I'm going to be talking about medical stuff and healthcare here, and I'm going to ramble, but it's all going to stay together in the medical thing. It's the fact that we have a birthing industry here, folks, where the website says to the people outside this country, if you are pregnant and you come and make a vacation during your due date, don't worry about having a baby in a hospital. I mean, you don't have to worry about a baby not being born in a hospital in Canada. We will provide you with a room in a hospital because we have dedicated spaces for you, the non-citizen of, whoops, I just smacked my wall, but I meant to point at my flag of Canada. You're getting pushed aside for a foreign industry, basically, to allow foreign people to come here to have a baby. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Meanwhile, the lady in Saskatchewan can't get the surgery she needs, and the wait time to see her expert on that to get her the surgery in Saskatchewan is longer than the pain and suffering she has. That lady in Saskatchewan has extreme bone pain and a lot of vomiting from her thyroid condition, a parathyroid, if I said it correctly. I know I have a speech problem. I don't care. I got Bell's palsy and a whole host of other things. And I enjoy talking, and I just like to get my voice out there because the likes of people like Clyde, Viva, Jeremy McKenzie, a whole host of others, Andy Lee, I could go on, even some famous people from back in the day that I really liked, the Saturday Night Live lineup of the guys doing, the weekend updates. Oh, I hope I could get some more humor into this. I really, really, really do. And yes, I am wearing sunglasses today because I don't really like how my eyes kind of look. I got a droopy eye and stuff like that. And I know I got Bell's palsy and kind of self-conscious, a little vanity vein in a way. But here I am in my Macho Man Randy Savage glasses. Oh, yeah, get a Slim Jim. Oh, he's got a voice. Excuse me, that kind of rattled me right there. But yes, our medical thing in Canada is atrocious. People are allowed to come here that are sick. They used to have a budget for of like $10,000. You may come to Canada if you have health issues that are basically going to cost us under $10,000. Now that has risen to a lot more. We're inviting more people here, diluting our system. And I'll tell you what, I live in Vanderhoof, British Columbia, great place, lovely community. Just north of me is Fort St. James. It has 6 doctors in its community, and apparently the ER, according to my wife, has been closed for almost a week. Yes, and they're going to lose 3 doctors in April. And David Eby says, I will make sure everybody in BC has a doctor. What Eby has done is basically almost made sure that anybody owning a home in British Columbia may have to pay the Indigenous off. I'm not going to get into that discussion here at the moment, other than to say that my province is sinking faster than the Titanic. Oh, yes, it's like a Challenger disaster. It is explosion, it's corruption, and everything else. Everybody that's involved with all that stuff, all I could say is the snake eating its own tail. But let's get back to the medical stuff, folks. Yes. Why are we suffering? I had to wait for an an ultrasound on my shoulder from my pain specialist. I have 2 different pain doctors, basically Dr. Palak, Dr. Reddy. One does myofascial needling, the other one burns my nerves, and they are both kind of fun experiences to have. But if you have pain issues, folks, I highly recommend trying to get pain injections. The short-term pain is worth the gain, or get your nerve burning if it's recommended. I got issues down low with nerves and stuff like that they don't really want to burn and stuff. Well, that's because there's other things like your bladder, your intestines, right? So I could be infecting those things, and I don't want to do that at the moment. But I do get the nerve burned in the middle of my back. Thankful for that, Dr. Reddy. But anyways, I had to wait for an ultrasound. Never got it. Went back to the doctor. He said, oh, no worry. We will just tweak your shoulder. He had an ultrasound machine in this thing. He basically stuck it in where we could find it and stuff. But like I said, I waited and waited and waited for an ultrasound, and I have not received it. Come on. And you see our doctors and everything else trying to do a good job, and they're leaving, and now apparently we're going to get foreign doctors. And let's get back to doctors again. Why are we allowing the Saudi Arabian doctors to train in Canada and then go back home? They're pushing aside people that could be training in Canada to help Canada. We shouldn't be a stomping ground for the world to come here and use and abuse us for other benefits. It should be here for Canada, and you should be training in Canada to be a doctor, not going elsewhere. I mean, if you decided to be a doctor and you leave after your training, that's so be it. But inviting doctors here and then they go back home, no, right? I mean, seriously. Everything is a bit screwed up. Even the fact that, again, we have hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, possibly in the 100 millions of the government wasting medical equipment, supplies, and it's all being trashed and burned. You know, it's sad. It's a shame. We have so much mismanagement in the government. We need a Doge. We really need somebody like that kid in Minnesota digging up all the scams and the corruption that is going on in the daycare, and not just the daycare, it's long-term care facilities, medical facilities. There's even a person who's sitting on the UN Security Council, or no, sorry, not the, he's on the UN. I'm not going to say Security Council. He's medically, I think he's there for WHO, and he's also a director of health in Minnesota. And with all the corruption going on, I mean, seriously, seeing a daycare owner with $2,400 glasses on, you know, daycare people really don't make money, folks, unless you're scamming. The whole story there is something different, but back to Canada Medical. Yes, we need to improve things. I mean, in my province, in my town, a ER is closed, but I can get a free crack pipe. Make that make sense. EB promised doctors for everybody, and yet basically what we're seeing is a main drain of talent of people leaving here. I mean, we tried to recruit from the United States for nurses. Why would a nurse want to come to Canada for more taxes? You know, if you love the country, I mean, of Canada, you love British Columbia, and you're willing to come up here to work and know the tax system is a terrible system, fine, come. But if I was a nurse, I'd be chasing the bucks. If I was a millwright, I'd be chasing the bucks, right? I wish I was a millwright. I've got a lumber grading ticket, but guess what? Grading lumber now is a dying job because machines are doing it, and they're doing it quite well. And I imagine since I've been off work, they're probably almost as good as the human eye. Maybe not better yet, but they're getting close. And all that technology is wonderful, right? And you know, medically and hospitals and everything else. And again, I'm going to look you all in the eyes and tell you, put down your coffee cup. Write a letter to your MP, MLA, your health authorities. Take the time to look into it and really raise some concerns. Even try and join a board of directors, volunteer, do whatever it is, because we need to improve things for everybody. And if we all don't, and we all just coast along, we're eventually not going to have much of a healthcare system. It's already dying as it is right now. And we as citizens need to make it better. And I am imploring you to think about it. As the year 2026 is just started, the first day of January, I encourage you all to try and speak up about it. I mean, I heard from my brother that, and I think Marjorie, when my dad was in the hospital at the ER, he basically had to spend it in the hallway. Kind of an awful place to be. I really feel for my dad. I really wish I could have been there for my dad, because geez, that's a shitty situation to be in a way because of overcrowding. We're bringing in too many people, and we don't have the infrastructure to deal with it. Like Calgary just had another water main break. Now, I don't think that's caused by overpopulation, but I think Nenshi and Gondike didn't do enough for the infrastructure of Calgary. They spent too much money on DEI and the protest Palestinians, whatever you want to call it, all the other things that are not that important, just virtue signaling, when they should be dealing with stuff like the water main and properly taking care of things. As a person who I follow on X, Marty Up North said, you know, these engineers that are working for Calgary should all resign if they allowed this crumbling to continue, because they have an oath apparently to follow. I did not know that. Yes, engineers have an oath to follow that if there is deficiency in a water main, they should be bringing it up and it should be rectified and stuff and dealt with. Same with like road construction and everything else. They have to sign off on this stuff. So if they're signing off and it's not good, it's not good. Just like our healthcare system. We got too many clickety-clacks of high heels, not enough nurses and not enough doctors, but the middle management, the upper management, the bureaucracy, there is too much. I mean, Alberta is awful. BC is just as bad for all the bureaucracy in it, when all we really need is more doctors, nurses, and care aides, cooks, the janitors, and everything else in our healthcare to take care of people. Not somebody making six figures a year telling people that are making five figures a year that you need to curtail whatever budget we gave you. No, how about get rid of the person making six figures and let each department have somebody who has the responsibility of that six-figure person, pay them a little bit more money to say, make sure the supplies are here that we need. We don't need a person making six figures. You can divide that person's job up into like a team leader for each hospital, medical clinic, whatever you want to call it, instead of some tippity tap guy person that says, oh, we'll approve this or we'll deny that, right? We could save a ton of money that way if we had tiny team leaders versus a giant six-figure salary person who's high on himself because they went to college, this is what their life is for, university, and he looks down upon people, because that's what seems to happen with a lot of these highly educated people. They think we're dumber than them because they got a piece of paper. Well, that's just the wrong kind of attitude to have, and I think there's too many people in politics and in civil government that should be out of the way for that. Whew, yes, I'm a yakety yak yak yak. Anyways, the medical stuff in Canada, yes, folks, speak up, say something, do something. Talk to your MLA, talk to your MP. All those wonderful things. And let's see what else I wanted to talk about on here on my thing. I'm not bringing up my notepad, but oh well. Yeah, and I did talk about her. I got to lift up my glasses, yes, and all that. Well, let's go to the Somalian thing down south, right, folks? Oh, wow. Well, we're going to briefly talk on this one because it blows my mind, because it's not just daycare things that they're scamming. They are giving the money that they're getting from the federal government to support another candidate, Somalian Democrat candidate. So a daycare center will be sending money to another person that's not even in that riding, so to speak. They are using the money that they get, and it's a lot of money. And this scandal basically started in 2018, 2017, when a gentleman said it's about $100 million going missing a year. And now we're talking $9 frickin' billion just in the daycare thing alone. And not just daycare, folks, they're talking about the long-term care facilities. I saw a web page where headers were in English and the other words could have been Spanish. That's what my Danica says. But if you're going to operate a long-term care facility, you should be using English in all the wording, right? And like the one center, it had learning spelt wrong. It was called the Learning Center. Please, come on. And let's get that center out, okay? And now listen to this very carefully about what I'm going to say. When the news broke on this by that Nick Shirley guy, thumbs up to him, positive vibes, and I hope he does not get hurt because he's already gotten death threats a lot. Anyways, he breaks the story. It blows up on the internet. Apparently, more people have seen this story than there's actual readership in newspapers in the United States, which is over 100 million. And that has grown since that I read that article. But anyways, the government announces we closed that facility down last week. Since the story broke, the people running the daycare facility are trying to put people and children in there to say, look, we're busy. The government says they're shut down. The people running the facility are trying to shove kids in there to say, look, we're busy. They misspelled the name of the center. It was there for a long time. To make matters worse, there's a coffee shop attached to it, and Ilhan Omar, who is the senator, governor, whatever, senator or whatever, she is a representative of Minnesota, and somehow she frequents and knows the Quality Learning Center as well. Is she involved in all this? I don't know, but apparently her husband, who runs basically a hedge fund, has all of a sudden got billions of dollars, and he's trying to scrub his websites and his social media. Whatever reason, I don't know, but it doesn't sound or smell good. He's Somalian, she's Somalian. All these people that are doing these scams at the daycares are Somalian. All the people that are in the long-term care facility scams are Somalians. The health clinics, Somalians. And guess what, folks? In order to encourage people to bring children to the daycare, they don't even have to stay there. These people are, most of them, that are these Somalian immigrants in Minnesota, 83% of them get welfare benefits. Some of them have been that way for over a decade. They're not assimilating into our society. They're taking the money, folks. They're taking the money. I mean, in fact, one center got broken into, they claim, and they stole all the checkbooks, not the voting registry, the people, the parents, the children, the list, you name it. And while this guy is speaking, he's got $2,400 glasses on. People know this because you can scan it, apparently, look at a picture and say, how much is this person wearing? And I guess artificial intelligence programs will tell you that those sunglasses that I bought, these were $19.95. These headsets were 60 something dollars. My house coat, if the picture will probably say $29.95, and so on. It's amazing what our technology can do. The scamming is amazing, and it's been going on for years, and they've been allowing it to happen. Remember, a few months back, a woman, and I'm not going to remember her name, but she was involved in the government. She was the only one in government in Minnesota on the state level that voted no to allow illegal immigrants to have benefits. She was killed, shot, murdered, along with her husband. Now, the guy who claimed to have shot them all, they have an authority, has wrote a big, huge, rambling letter, including Tim Walz's name in it, saying he wants Amy Klobuchar killed so he can have her spot. Now, that's crazy. That's all, whatever it is there, something I've read. Don't always take it from me. Like I said, folks, read, research. If you're on X, you just have to use the search bar. That's all you have to do. Type in what you want to look up, and something will pop up, and you will find what you seek. Same with YouTube, same with Google, all those wonderful things. Do more reading and research, people. I don't like to keep saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you what I've read and heard. If I'm wrong on anything, please fill it in the comments. I'll be glad to look at it and change my mind if need be, or say thank you for bringing it to my attention. That's all I can say on all that. Again, what Nick Shirley has done is it's exposed a massive fraud thing in the America. And now, what does a mainstream news outlet do in the States? We will use CNN as an example. They actually interviewed Nick Shirley. He held his own. He said there's nothing racist about what I'm doing. Fraud is fraud. The paperwork is there. There's an old fellow who's challenging everybody that's Somalian to prove him wrong, and I will give you $100,000. So far, nobody in the daycare community that's getting all these benefits has risen to the challenge. These people, and I hate to say it that way, but if you come into this country or an American country or any other country and you scam your way to prosperity, shame on you, and I hope you get caught. Seriously, if you want to make Canada better, come here and be productive, because the only way Canada truly prospers, folks, is if the majority, and I mean majority of us, are productive, including myself. I'm not very productive because of my health, but I am going to hopefully try and find a ways making some extra money. Scrapping metal is one thing, but you know what? It's also hard on me and my body and stuff. I don't mind doing it. Stripping copper wire, that's kind of neat. I mean, sounds boring and all that, but I have a melting pot, and hopefully I'll be getting a, not a blast furnace, but I'm going to get some of that sand, and I'm going to get a mold kit so that hopefully maybe I can make some things like rings down the road, whether they're going to be copper rings or whatever, but I'm going to try it because it looks neat. I watch videos on it and all that. Now, I know I'm rambling, and it's almost a 30-minute mark and stuff like that. I do, again, want to initiate or iterate or whatever you want to call it. Iterate. I don't even think that's the word. But get out there, folks. It's January 1st. If you felt that you got beat up in 2025 and you're tired of it, well, raise your voice. That's all I can say. Don't have to be belligerent. You don't have to go poke somebody in the chest, but you can go talk to your MLA. You can go talk to your MP, your civic leader, whatever it is. Join something. I'm going to hopefully go to another town council meeting and such. I think I'm going to hopefully get more involved that way. So that is something I could tell you there. And me personally, I'm going to be more on X. I got my show. Hopefully, I'll get more expansion, and hopefully, I will get the other program up and running and learn to put some stuff up on the screen, like the missing children I want to show off. I also would like to say, Danica bought me the new alien light that is up there, the little, the thing with the extra mouth. You can see the tail and the head. The light is kind of bright. I thought I'd set it up, and it does look pretty decent up there. I just wish I might have to put it somewhere else so that it shows it off better. I thought it would look good there and shine off the painting that Danica made me for my dude in the house coat show, right? Because that's all I am. I'm just a dude. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm not trying to tell you to listen to me and accept everything I say. I'm just telling you that this is what I heard. Maybe you should look into it. I'm not here to start an argument. I'm here for dialogue, but I'm not here to prove I'm right, and I'm not here to prove you wrong. I am here to let you know that please wake up. Our country is falling, and if you don't notice it, you must be a government employee with 6 figures or more. That's all I could say. And folks, remember the scone is lit for those who lost a loved one or were sick. So today, I would like to say to my family, my father, Marjorie, for being sick, the lovely lady who helps my father along, her and old family, a shout out to them because, well, I wish I could see my dad a lot more than I have. It's been years since I've been to Calgary. I will hopefully be down that way in the summer, knock on glass. I got a glass desk and all that. But yes, if the scone clip for everybody there, it doesn't mean that it's just what it is. So, like inspiration people that I remember in my past that have passed on, yes, that's scone clip for them. The atrocities around the world, for the lady I mentioned, Kayla Pollock, going to Japan for her treatment. Hopefully she recovers from her vaccine injury, all those things. But yes, folks, get out there. Try and say some more. Tell your MLAs, tell your MPs, because the NGOs of the world are dictating how this country is going. You don't believe me? Just look at the state of BC with UNDRIP. If you don't know what UNDRIP is, go look it up. It is not a good thing. Sounds great, but it is not. And I always say this, and I want to say this before I end the show. I know I like to talk, but SPCA, folks, if you have never been to an SPCA, at least go once in your life. You don't have to adopt. Maybe make a donation, but go see if a furball connects with you. Again, folks, Happy New Year. Hope it's prosperous and everything else and better health and all that. So take care. Love you all. And yes, do something. Goodbye.